Welcome to the Life Makeovers podcast. My name is Cindy D. Whitmer, and I am the Midlife Makeover Coach, helping you turn your midlife into your best life, one step at a time. Through powerful conversations, my own midlife roller coaster story, and over 3 decades of helping people transform their lives through counseling and coaching, I am on a mission to help you create your own definition of success and happiness. Thank you for being here. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Life Makeovers podcast. I'm so glad you're here with us today. And today's your lucky day because I have with me Dr. Sally Good, who is a licensed clinical psychologist. She's an author, she's a course creator, a speaker, and she's going to teach us a whole lot about not just this brain, but our other one. Did you know we had more than one? I didn't know. This is big news to me. So, and so much more to share. Sally, it's so great to meet you. I have met you through LinkedIn and we've had some conversations, and I am so excited to share you with my audience. So why don't you tell them a little bit more about yourself and then we'll get started.
Okay, thank you so much, Cindy. It feels so nice and warm and cozy in here in the Zoom room. When outside, it's not so cozy, but I'm glad to be here. And in the big world, I help overwhelmed overachievers kind of get some balance back to their life, their sacrifice, their family life. Maybe they've sacrificed their health and they need someone to give them a restart so they can feel better and they wake up like feeling refreshed. And sometimes they even say, like, okay, I've reached the pinnacle of my success, and is that all there is?
Oh,
And when somebody says that, then I say, come with me. I'll show you a great adventure. It's called life. And those are the people I love to work with. So as a clinical psychologist and also as a coach. And rather than just like doing some cursory kind of thing, I like to go deep. We have very deep conversations. My clients, we get to know each other very, very well. We get to be really alive and authentic with each other. And so,
part of
yeah.
why you and I get along so well is because I think we both really believe in that deeper dive and really getting real with people and being our authentic selves as their coaches as well, and building that relationship so there's real trust, so the real work can get done. So I really appreciate that about you, and about your approach and everything. So tell us about which, by the way, you said you hear all the time, is this all there is? I hear that in women in midlife all the time. Is this all there is? Is this it? And I'm like, no, 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 there's more. So where do you want to start? Like, do you want to tell us about our brains, our gut? Like, where do you want to start?
Well, usually when I will start where like I would start if we were having a coaching journey. And then that way whoever's listening can get a little hint of what it's like. Unlike most coaches, and also too, I've been doing this for a really long time. So I would like start with like, just the cursory things like, what do you think about yourself? You're a little bit about your family, where you think you're stuck, how come you aren't moving forward, those kind of things.
Yeah.
And then I realized, and particularly with women who are in that M word, the M journey.
I trust you
Yes,
to pause, right?
yes, the menopause journey. Um,
Journey.
yes, the menopause journey, and it is a journey,
It is.
especially in that age group. They have given everything to everyone else,
Mhm.
but not given back to themselves.
Oh, yeah. They're nodding their heads right now, listening. Yes.
Yes, I can feel them nodding their heads.
Yep.
And so if you don't get your foundation of health in order, everything else is just like laying on a house of sand.
Oh, that doesn't sound good. So, how do we get
Yeah.
the foundation? What is the foundation of our health?
Surprisingly, and this is something I do a little bit different than most coaches, the gut microbiome is the foundation for virtually everything else in terms of health and wellness.
Wow. Okay. So, what is the gut microbiome? Let's just start there in case people don't even know what that means.
Okay. Well, we all know where our gut is, and we've all had gut instincts. We've all
Mm,
had little butterflies in our stomach when we meet somebody who's kind of cute, and we think like, hmm, I like that person.
yes.
The opposite is true also.
Hmm.
So we've been noticing our gut, and the microbiome is a word that came sort of into existence into our vocabulary about 5 years ago. It just means little small critters, microbes, all different kinds of critters down there in the biome meaning life. So
Okay.
it's just a little home for our small critters, our gut bacteria flora that live down there. We have microbiomes in other places. You'll see some shampoo commercials talking about let's attend to the microbiome in your hair and your face.
Wow.
Each time we have a colony of things, um, it's a microbiome of little critters. So I tell people the little critters down here in your gut do so much for us. They
Mm,
make over 50% of our neurotransmitters, which are those chemicals that help us to feel good, like serotonin, or
oh,
help us spring into action, like dopamine. Other
okay.
ones called GABA.
Mm,
Their job is down there to make those neurotransmitters. And when that's not working, we get things like anxiety. People
mm,
feel like edgy, sometimes depression. If
mm,
our gut's not balanced and in tune with the rest of our body,
mm,
then we get these other sort of symptoms. And also to this kind of like the brain fog that people get into.
mhm, mhm,
I tell people like you're a smart person because you decided to get a coach.
mm,
I have a coach.
mhm,
If I'm going to learn something new, I want to go to somebody who's an expert. I don't do my own taxes.
right.
So if you're having difficulty with things, go get a coach. Get somebody who can help you. So
Mhm,
also about that is lots of times people are kind of like they're so business centered, they haven't heard the news about the gut microbiome and why we call it the second brain.
okay.
In what we call our first brain, we have a
Right.
neural network.
Mhm,
Lots of things going on up there, lots of neural transmitting. We also have the capability of adding new neurons through neuroplasticity.
mm,
And we can do that in quite a few ways. And I'll get to that in a second. But
mm.
that same neural network also follows down into our gut. And we have like about 150 neural networks in our gut. And we are
Wow.
talking back and forth
Wow.
bidirectionally, gut talking to brain, brain talking to gut, giving
Okay.
information back and forth. So that's why the gut microbiome has been called the second brain.
Oh my gosh. So what how are they talking to each other? Are they like, is the brain telling the second brain, the gut, like, okay, digest the food? Or is the gut, I mean, or are they saying, is the gut saying, oh, get happier because, I'm balancing your serotonin? Or like, what are they talking about? What are they all talking about, those two?
Yes, think of the gut microbiome as like a piece of real estate.
Okay.
And you've got all different kinds of neighbors that live down there. You've got some neighbors that just love fiber. When we send down those asparagus,
Okay.
I happen to love Brussels sprouts, but it's not a lot of people's favorite. When we send those things down like cauliflower, broccoli, all those things, those neighbors are saying, "Yay, give me more. I love it." And
Okay.
then but
Okay.
they have some other neighbors, maybe across the track neighbors.
Uh-oh. The wrong
Uh,
side of the tracks. Is
yes. And
that
if
where the
there's two,
chocolate ones live?
oh, not chocolate's actually good for you. And we'll talk about it in a sec.
You heard it
Chocolate's
here,
really good for
ladies.
you.
Chocolate's good
Yeah,
for you.
chocolate's good for you.
Hey.
Those other neighbors, if they, and they're always trying to take over because
Oh,
when they take over a spot, then they get to multiply, um, have more babies and make more of them. So
oh,
there's some microbes down there that when they're in the right balance, they're okay. When they get out of balance, they can take over and bad things happen. they send messages to us that hijack our brain that says things like, I want sugar. You will give me sugar or else I will make you feel bad.
Oh,
Yep, they're pretty powerful.
okay. So what do we do to create balance in our gut then?
No surprise.
No
Eat.
surprise. Say it anyway. Say it anyway. Tell us,
We've got
Sally.
we have got to eat healthfully,
Okay.
and there's lots of like I don't like to tell people to diet because the first three letters are DIE. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't diet.
No.
We change little tiny pieces of our lifestyle
Okay.
and we do it over time. And
Okay.
over time, it becomes a habit. And then we know what it takes to put a habit in place. We really need to hook it with something that we're already doing.
Mm-hmm.
So here's how I um, made myself floss my teeth. You know, you go to the dentist, they say, you got to floss. I took a piece of tape and I hooked it to my remote control.
Oh.
So every time I picked up the remote control, there was my flossing thing. So
Oh.
during commercials, I'd just pull out a piece and I'd floss during the commercials.
Oh, that's a great idea.
So there's habit building, and habit building, we try small steps to get going. So
Okay.
yes, I tell people about the Mediterranean diet, which if you like chicken or fish or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
some people would like to go keto, and
Mm-hmm.
they actually like to do like an intermittent fast, which
Mm-hmm.
isn't the worst thing in the world because you need to stop eating by 8 o'clock at night.
Okay.
If you don't stop eating by 8 o'clock at night, your gut can't repair itself.
Oh, really?
And here's the kicker.
Fun. Okay.
When we were created, and we're wondrously created, the more we learn about our bodies, the more it's amazing.
Pretty fascinating. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We were hunters and gatherers. We didn't go to the freezer and get a pop at night, or we didn't get like a chocolate bar at
Piece of
night,
pie.
piece of pie, because we went to
Bowl
sleep when
popcorn.
the sun went down.
Yeah.
And
Right.
we got to fix our gut. It's something called AUTOPHAGY. And some people say
Autophagy.
autophagy, and some
Okay.
people say autophagy.
Yeah. It's
So either way, that's when our gut repairs itself. So we need that time for it to repair. So if you're having sex at 2 o'clock in the morning, your gut's not getting repaired successfully. It's not run cycle. So
okay.
yes, I like the Mediterranean diet. There's another one called the Mind diet. And there
Hmm.
was just an article actually yesterday on the Neuroscience News that actually had research data. We've always thought that these things prevent dementia if you eat well, do
Hmm.
some exercising and those kind of things. But now they actually did a study, and it was in Neuroscience News yesterday, about how eating a couple of different things help you to maintain your longevity. But we just don't want to live a long time. We want to live a healthy, vital
Yeah.
time.
We want to live
We
well while we're
we
living.
want to be having fun.
Yeah. So what are some
Yeah,
of the, I mean, is it all what we think, all the vegetables and some fruit and whole
vegetables and some fruit. And I tell people pick a fruit or something from go into the produce section. And
Mhm.
some people actually have organic produce. That's not super necessary unless you have
Mm.
some, if you eat some of the things off what's called the dirty dozen, and
Oh,
apples and strawberries are on that because they're highly pesticized
oh,
when they're being grown.
not organic.
Not they're not organic, right? But
Okay.
when you go there, pick a vegetable or a fruit that you never had before.
Oh,
Only this year I uh, found out what a dragon fruit was.
oh yes, I've seen those. Yes,
And they're beautiful. And
they
when you
are.
cut
They're
them
cool
open,
looking.
they're white and they have little seeds in them. And they sort of remind me of pears. They're not like super, they don't have a super taste to them. But
Mhm.
then there's lots of other different kinds of vegetables here. Just try something new.
So mix it up.
Mix it up.
Mix it up.
Those little guys down in our gut, they like a different mixture. One of my friends who raises organic lettuce said iceberg lettuce you get from a store is virtually like eating a piece of paper. There's very little nutrients in it.
Ooh.
But if you eat organic lettuce, it still has the microbes from the field in it. You can
Oh,
wash it, but it doesn't have any pesticides. So not only are you getting the nutrients from the lettuce, you're also getting all the other critters that are living on the lettuce.
oh gosh.
Hmm.
Wow.
So
So
those are good.
that's a reason to buy organic is to avoid
Yes,
pesticides and to get the little critters,
the critters that love
the
it.
good soil.
Yeah, and then another way you can restock your gut, say like you have to take antibiotics. And if you just look at that word, it's against life. Antibios. That means it kills everything.
Yeah, even the
And
good.
sometimes we have to take it because when I work with a lot of elders and if they get a urinary tract infection, that's life threatening because it can turn into sepsis, which turns into kidney failure. So antibiotics have to be used to help them. So
Okay.
there's many circumstances that we need to actually use them.
Hmm.
So yes, we kill off the good stuff, we kill off the bad stuff, and then we have to replenish. And fermented foods is a very good way to do that.
Oh,
I live in a community that has a lot of Germans.
oh,
So they make their own sauerkraut in a crock that sits in the kitchen
oh,
and they just add to it.
nice.
And the fermentation creates an environment that makes your gut feel healthier again.
Hmm.
Yogurt, again, the good kind,
Okay,
read the
what's the
label.
good time? What's the good kind? Tell us.
It'll say active cultures,
Okay, active cultures.
and then it'll say milk and water. And that's the only thing that should be in there.
Oh, so my non-dairy vanilla, whatever it is, probably isn't on the list.
Also, don't go for low fat. Fat actually is really good for you. You actually need fats and cholesterol to feed your brain. Your brain loves that stuff. So get some good yogurt, not with the creamy syrupy stuff on the bottom.
Okay.
Throw in some blueberries, any kind of like nuts that you like,
Mm-hmm. Little
walnut.
parfait, homemade parfait is what you're suggesting, right?
Yes, and you can put grains in there, even things like chia seeds. They're really high in antioxidants and they're cheap, and you can get them in bulk.
Hmm.
And speaking of chocolate,
Yes, let's talk about chocolate.
we can also put cacao, which is where chocolate is made from. You can buy the organic cacao in bulk. It
Oh,
doesn't have any sweetener in it, so it's going to taste slightly bitter,
a little bitter.
but you put it in your mixture. And if you do need a sweetener, if you do want to like make it nicer, a little coconut milk, almond milk, all
Okay.
those things, make a little parfait. And then you've got some things that's going to help it's going to taste good first.
Mm.
And then it's going to help your gut microbiomes.
Well, yeah, and when it tastes good, then you're gonna eat it. So you're gonna, you're
Mhm.
not gonna shy away from it. So we can add those
Right.
things to kind of give it some life that makes us want to
Ye-
eat it.
yes. And we also have this thing called kombucha, which is made from
Oh,
an organism that grows.
mm,
Everyone thinks, when I say there's nothing new under the sun, we just recycle all this stuff. Because about 30 years ago, I was making kombucha in my refrigerator.
oh,
And
really?
and so now people go into you can even get it from the regular drugstores. It's in the
Wow.
section with all the good drinks. And it also is a fermented thing, and it will also help you. And kefir or kefir, Kefir, that's an ancient milk product that
Oh,
was used actually back in the day before there was electricity. They would ferment the milk with a culture, and then they could carry it with them.
really? Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
Hmm.
Okay, now what about things like eggs?
Well, eggs, depending on what your health status is, you
Mhm.
can eat just about as many egg whites as you want because it's just pure protein.
Okay,
The yolk has cholesterol in it.
okay,
So if you're having cholesterol issues or any kind of health issues,
okay,
really the recommendation now is you can have a yolk, but just have one a day.
okay. And
But
what
if you
about
don't have any problems, make an omelet, make a frittata, throw in those veggies inside the eggs, and you got also a really and some different kinds of little spices. All our condiments and spices make these things taste really good.
and what about cheese though? Do you need block cheese? Do you need no cheese? Is the shredded kind in
Okay,
the plastic bags okay? I mean, or is that all bad stuff?
cheese is an interesting subject because people think American cheese is actually cheese.
Oh, no, it's not. I know it's
No,
not.
it's not.
That's why I
It's
asked you.
made from petroleum products. You can actually light it on fire.
Yeah.
Don't try this in your house.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Okay, I need good news about cheese. Where do we go where it's okay for cheese?
Okay. If cheese is a fermented product, it comes from a culture being placed in milk.
Right.
Now there are organic cheeses and there's cheeses that made from dairy.
Mhm,
I personally don't drink dairy for many, many reasons,
mhm.
and some of them are political and some of them are health wise. Some
Okay.
people don't tolerate milk very well because
Yes,
it's
lots
really
of
milk
those.
is for baby cows.
Yeah. So,
But
yes, I've
I
heard.
admit I like cheese, especially on my Tuesday tacos.
Oh, yeah, I like them too. On tacos, I like it on omelets. I like
Yes.
pizza. Like,
Yeah,
so what do we do? What do we do then? We pick what?
moderation, moderation.
Okay.
If you're eating a diet that has like all the good stuff and you throw in, the cheese, it's not going to mess up anything. It's not
Okay.
going to throw anything out of balance.
Is it better to buy, this might be a dumb question, but I'm willing to ask the dumb question. If you buy the block cheese and you shred it yourself, like the nicer blocks of cheese, like in the cheese
Yes.
section instead of over in the
Hmm.
refrigerator by the sour cream,
Right.
like, is
Right.
that better for you typically, or is it the same situation? It's just shows up
Well,
different.
you got to figure that the shredded cheese was made in a factory and it went through a machine
Yeah.
that shredded it, and now it's living in plastic. And you don't know how long it's been living in there. It will have an expiration date on it, but
Yeah.
it's not fresh, fresh, fresh. What you're thinking about, you can be assured you're actually getting really a fresh product, and the fresher the better.
Okay. So the block is just fresher and,
Yes,
and
and then
not.
you can like do like Fontina or
Mhm.
any of the
Yeah.
other
Gouda. I like Gouda a
Gu-
lot.
German. It's hard to
Agio.
thread Gouda, but
Mm.
Fontina will shred all those. Again, we're exploring things we haven't eaten before.
Okay, and what about red meat? Because you talked about chicken and fish, I believe, but
Mhm.
what about like red meat? Is that a
Well,
no?
there's many people who are on a keto diet that do eat red meat, but
Okay,
you really need to know where it came from.
okay.
I read the study once that said hamburger meat may have as many as 100 different cows in it.
Oh Lord, that makes
Yeah,
me.
doesn't that make you want not to have hamburgers? And
No, I buy
I
organic grass-fed ground beef. That's what I buy.
good.
Organic grass-fed,
Yes,
grass-fed USDA organic ground beef. That's what I buy when I buy ground beef. But yeah,
that's the best.
I
That's the
have an
best.
occasional steak. I mean, I don't know if
Mhm.
that's one animal. I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted about eating it.
I'm very conflicted about harming animals to feed us.
Yeah, I am too, honestly.
And honestly, I do really like a really good steak,
Mm,
like
me too.
for a
Once in a
special occasion.
while. Yes. Yeah. Like twice a year,
Yeah,
three
it's
times a year, maybe I have it.
right. Yes. Birthdays, celebrations, those kind of things.
Hmm.
But unless you're sure you know where the meat actually came from, I have some friends who bought a farm, about 50 acres, nice young couple, and before COVID hit, they started raising heritage pigs, um, chickens at range, of course, cows at free range,
Hmm.
and then they found what they considered a humane processing plant,
Uh-huh.
and they would sell their products online.
Hmm.
And boy, during COVID, gangbusters. Oh my gosh, right place, right time.
Yeah.
Plus, their stuff is really good. So if you get it from a reputable source and you know it's good, it's very, very good for you. Now,
Okay.
the third part of the gut microbiome, we just can't sit around all day
Gotta move,
because
move, move, move.
yes, our lymphatic system is made in a way that we need to move around. We don't
Okay.
have to do anything crazy. We don't have to go to aerobics class.
Okay.
Um, just walking in nature, and nature is so restful and healing.
Oh, I believe that
Um,
100%.
I brought up a thing that I like to do on another podcast, and the podcaster reminded me that the guy who's number one in tennis right now in the world is
Hmm.
from Australia,
Oh,
not originally, but I think his name is Kovacs.
okay.
Those you people out there, get your phone out and Google him. He goes to the Melbourne Conservatory and sits in a certain place, and there's a magnificent tree there. And he
Oh,
sits and he notices the tree.
oh my.
Does the tree look different than when he was there before? Is it shedding? Is the bark different? And he just sort of takes it all in. He
Commune
breathes.
with the tree.
Yes, yes.
Uh-huh.
And that hones his mindful skills, which hones his ability to see that ball coming across the court at
Oh,
him.
yeah.
He can slow down time almost when you
Wow.
practice mindfulness and meditation. You become
Oh,
so
I see.
aware of your environment.
Hmm.
And people used to laugh at him, all his buds that he plays with.
I'll bet
And
until
guess
he's
what?
champion.
Guess what? Guess who's looking at trees now?
Yeah, yeah. Now it's like, give me some of that, right? Okay, so
Give
you're
me some of
talking about
that.
mindfulness,
Mhm.
meditation, calming the nervous system,
Yes,
lowering our cortisol levels, right? And being in nature lowers
absolutely.
our cortisol levels. So
Yes,
cortisol is the stress hormone, right? So
yes,
movement, a good diet, rest, calmness, anything else around all of that you really want to
yes.
say?
You touched on a very important part because fight, flight, freeze, some people actually freeze.
Yeah.
The cortisol is highly activated. And I've spoken to people who have been in that state for even 10, 15 years.
Really?
So
Wow.
hyper vigilant over things that have happened in the past that
Mm.
they feel no sense of safety. So cortisol is super activated,
Oh my gosh. Wow.
and adrenaline.
And what does that do to us
Well,
overall?
it depletes the organs that make these substances, like our adrenal glands get depleted, and
Okay.
so you need to replenish them. If you do it naturally, just by eating well and calming down, so all the things you just mentioned are in a part of our bodies called the sympathetic nervous system.
Okay.
And there's another part that's the parasympathetic nervous system.
Hmm.
It's part of our autonomic nervous system, the things that make us blink. Like if you ever tried to do a stare contest when you're a kid and whoever blinked
Yeah.
first lost,
Yeah.
there's no way you can stop blinking or breathing or your heart pumping or the blood being circulated. It's all done for us.
Yes. Just we don't have to even, yeah, do
We
anything.
don't even have to
It's
think about it.
automatic. Yeah.
So the other part, the parasympathetic system, is called rest and digest.
Mm.
So we need to rest. And I have people say, "Oh, I have to be busy all the time. Busy, busy, busy." My family said, "If you sit down, you're lazy." I said, "Let's
Ah,
rethink this a little bit here, okay?"
yes, let's.
Because the more relaxed you are, the more those creative juices that we all have,
Mm,
intuition, they start to
mm,
just kind of bubble up. And I encourage people to daydream.
mm.
Just get in a place where it feels really good and just let your mind wander.
Oh,
Let it
yes.
wander.
Uh,
Pursue wherever it goes. And your inner guidance, some people call them their inner guidance their business friend if they're doing business, or they
mhm.
make it names for it. I call it my inner guidance. I
I do
just let
too.
it kind of just wander, let it
Yeah.
wander, and it will tell you really fascinating things, but they're fleeting. They're fleeting. You have to catch them when they go by, right?
Mm, mm.
So when you're doing this, have a piece of paper and a pen because write down a couple of words. Something pops up, write it down. And then you kind of like stay there for a little bit and then you say, is there anything else? And then whatever pops up after that. Or is this, are we done? Napoleon Hill, which your a
Yep.
bit viewers will definitely know who that is.
You can grow
Uh,
rich. Mhm.
yes, he had one thing that he said the first thing when he got up in the morning.
What
He
was that?
said, God, what are you and I going to do today?
Oh, I love that.
Hmm.
I love that. I heard a prayer, Marianne Williamson say a
Yes, uh-huh.
prayer. She said, God, dear God, please take this situation or my life or my business or whatever. I place it in your hands.
Hmm.
Uh, you handle all the details, heal
Hmm.
my mind of error, and
Hmm.
reveal to me what you would have me do. I
Perfect,
really like that too. It's like
perfect.
saying, I'm here,
Hmm.
I'm available, but you
Right.
really got this. You just
Yes.
inform me how to be
What
how
I'm
to be
supposed to
your
do for
servant
you.
or how to be your channel or your hands and
Hmm.
feet or whatever, right? In our
Exactly.
earthly
We are the hands and feet
life. Right.
of what we need to be doing down here.
I think
And
so.
so that's a good way to think of it. So when we get more relaxed,
Mhm.
more attuned, our guts balanced, we aren't having like bloating, GERD, diarrhea, constipation, all those kinds of things.
Mhm.
And in rest and digest, that's mainly controlled by the vagus nerve.
Mm.
And again, old stuff, Ayurvedic, India,
Wisdom.
people
Mhm.
were wisdom,
Mhm.
use the vagus nerve to calm down. It's the longest nerve in the body. It's the 10th cranial nerve. This is a little geeky, but anyway, your listeners might say, who is that person talking about the vagus nerve? But anyway, it's the 10th cranial nerve. It comes down from a little opening here at the back of your occipital bone, and
Okay.
it shares the same opening that your artery comes down the carotid,
Okay.
and beside it in another opening is the jugular. They come
Oh,
together and are in a sheath that comes down the side of your neck.
okay.
It originates inside your head behind your eyes. It kind of circles around the back of your ears, comes down this way, and then it bifurcates it. It goes down into your torso and all goes all the way down to your bladder. So it
Oh,
controls bladder control,
wow.
climax.
Really?
That's a biggie. Yes, that's a biggie for some people.
Yeah.
And it also controls your digestive processes. So if you're constipated or having diarrhea, your vagus nerve is not in tune with your body. And
Mhm.
because it's here, you can do things like massage the back of your throat right here. And you
Okay.
can take two fingers and go beside your ears and just massage your ears. I see a
Really?
lot of people do this naturally and they don't know anything about the vagus nerve. They're just
That's
like doing this like,
massaging it so it'll
yes,
circulate better
gently,
or whatever?
gently. So it'll perk it up and they call it being toned. I don't know who
Oh,
started this,
interesting.
but there is a theory called the polyvagal theory
Okay.
that has to do with traumatic events that happen to you. And it's a whole discourse around how to use your vagus nerve to reorient yourself into being a non-trauma person so
Wow,
that you're
that's
not in fight and flight all the time.
fascinating. That would be a whole nother show, wouldn't it? Maybe.
Yes.
Um,
So the root word of the vagus nerve is very interesting. It's from Latin meaning to wander. So the
oh,
word vagabond, vagrant, because the vagus nerve wanders all over our nervous system.
wow.
So when we get anxious or get panicky, one of the ways to calm down is to use cold. You see all those crazy people sitting in those ice baths?
Yes,
Yes.
they are crazy. Yes.
Taking those
Now, to each their
cold
own.
showers on a winter's day. Okay. Well, if you're anxious or you're having, some people get panic attacks Take an ice cube and put it in the palm of your hand.
Really? That'll
And it
help settle
actually,
you down.
yes, it actually helps you calm
Oh my
your
gosh.
nervousness.
Are you
One of
kidding?
my clients was in a
So
car
easy.
accident, and she got so panicky whenever she would get in her car again
Oh,
that
I
she couldn't
bet.
drive for months.
I'll bet. Yeah,
So
that's
besides doing a little exposure therapy, having her sit in the
yep.
car until she couldn't stand it,
Mm-hmm.
we got one of those little igloo things you put ice in, and we put
Uh-huh.
an ice pack in there. And so she gets in the car, she puts her hand in the ice pack and
And that
breathes
calms her down.
and breathes.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh, that's a great tip. It's so practical. Anybody can do it.
Yes.
I hope you all heard
Anybody
that.
can do it.
Wow. Okay. Well, we are running low on time, and I want to ask you
Okay.
two things. And
Hmm.
I know I'm opening a whole slippery slope here. So, just
Okay.
if you have a 2-minute answer to this, a
Okay.
lot of women in midlife get belly fat they've never had before.
Hmm.
And is there some magic, anything that you have to say about that? Or is there, what do we do about the
Hmm.
menopause
Hmm.
belly fat? Or is
The
that
belly
not even
fat,
a fair
the belly
question?
fat is actually an outcome from not being balanced. The cortisol levels won't let you let go of any fat because if you're in fight, flight, or freeze, your brain who that tries to protect you at all times,
Mhm,
even when you want to do something different,
mhm.
it doesn't like change. Your brain
Right,
it
right.
doesn't like change. And so you will keep that belly fat until you balance the other parts of your body because your brain is saying, hey, we might get in a famine because I'm hypervigilant. There
Right.
might be a dinosaur around the corner trying to get you. So
Okay.
you need a little extra padding there to get away.
So
So
balancing your microbiome,
your
balancing
gut,
your gut and your
balancing your
cortisol
gut,
level.
and it also has a lot to do with hormonal response.
Okay.
Here, oh, yeah, I know we got 2 minutes, but
That's a whole nother, it's a
that's
whole
a
nother
whole
subject. I hope not.
another
I
thing.
might have to have you come back sometime.
We might have to talk about preventing dementia at some point in time. And
Well, we need
there's
to
a lot
talk
of,
about that too, because I know
okay,
you have a book, which
yes.
everybody will put all her information in the show notes. But you have a book about preventing dementia, and like this is the time, right, for us
Hmm.
to like think
Yeah,
about it. Not
yesterday,
wait till we're
yesterday,
we're 70 or 80, but now, right? So,
yesterday.
is there one or two little things you're saying it's preventable in most cases?
Yes.
So
You
that's
know,
great news.
yes.
What's the
You,
secret?
okay. You listen to the TV and they have these public service announcements.
Yes.
How to prevent heart attacks, how to
Yeah.
prevent strokes.
Yeah.
I've never seen one on how to prevent dementia.
I haven't either. Not once.
No, not once, because there's different kinds of dementia. We're talking about Alzheimer's, vascular dementia that comes from strokes, frontal
Oh,
lobal dementia that Bruce Willis got, and also the
oh,
talk host Wendy. They just diagnosed her with frontal temporal lobe dementia. It's
who was that?
usually a Wendy, the talk host person,
Oh,
the pretty
oh,
gal.
oh, really? Oh, oh
Hmm. Yep,
dear. Okay.
yep. So if you prevent stroke, you also prevent vascular dementia because
Oh,
when a part of your brain is damaged from the stroke, it doesn't function as well. And if it's damaged because of either a brain bleed, which a vessels opened up and it made blood go around your brain,
right.
or something called hypoxic, when a vessel gets pinched off
Uh-huh.
and that part of the brain doesn't get enough blood. So
Right.
it can happen in a couple of ways. If you prevent stroke and also you prevent heart attacks, you'll be going a long way towards preventing vascular dementia, which is probably about 85% of preventable.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
And what about just like one thing I do, maybe this is silly, but one thing I do is I play little word games on purpose. I do things that challenge my brain every day because I think I'm helping myself prevent dementia. Now maybe I'm just having fun, But what else does like you? I know you mentioned a toothbrush to me earlier in a conversation.
Yes,
So tell me
yes,
about that.
yes, the magic wand.
This is a magic wand, is it?
Yes, it's in your medicine cabinet.
Okay.
If
How
you
does
brush your teeth at least twice a day,
mhm.
you lessen your risk of getting dementia by 69%. It's a study where they did 1,800 people.
What? Just brushing our teeth? You're kidding. Twice a day. We all do
Yeah,
that. Isn't everybody doing that?
no,
They're
no,
not?
no,
Oh,
because if you don't get the
brush your teeth.
tartar off your teeth, it becomes a scaffolding for the bacteria to set up housekeeping. And when it does that, it gets underneath your gums. Whenever your gums bleed after flossing, that's
Uh-huh.
an open channel into your cardiovascular system. You can either get endocarditis, which is an inflammation around the heart,
Oh,
or it can also cause inflammation within your whole system, which leads to inflammation in the brain.
wow. You know what I thought you were going to say about the toothbrush for preventing dementia? I thought you were
Uh-huh.
going to say brush with the opposite hand that you usually brush because it'll open up
That's
your brain, like
yes,
hit
that's
your
that's a
brain in a
great tip.
different way or something.
Yes, that's a great tip. Anything that's novel, put on your. We always put our shoes on the same way. We're in a rut.
Do we really?
Yes,
Oh,
we do.
wow. I bet we do. I never thought
Hmm.
about it. So just
Change the rut.
drive a different direction to work and
Yes,
listen to
do
different
something novel, something unusual, novel. It has to make your brain like, oh, I can't do this. Oh, yeah, I can. Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. Brushing your teeth with the other hand is a real biggie.
It's huge. I
Try.
mean, I
Mhm.
fractured my dominant wrist a few years
Ah,
ago, and
okay.
so tried to brush my teeth with the other hand, and the
Mhm.
first few days, I mean, the body adjusted pretty quickly, but the
Yes.
first time it was like I was like, I had toothpaste running down my chin.
Hmm.
I couldn't do the rapid, some of the rapid moves. It was
Yes.
like, it was so ugly. It was so funny. It was really so yeah, but in a few days, it was not
Mhm.
much different than the other one. But I thought I've heard that before that like use the
Mhm.
opposite side and go a different
Mhm.
way and go to new experiences you would never do because your brain just goes, "Wow, what? What's
Right.
this?
Yes.
What's this
Let's make
sound?
some new
What am I
neurons because
seeing?"
we can figure it out. Make
Yes.
some neurons. Yeah. Play a new musical instrument. Learn a new language.
Wow.
Um, don't do
Fun.
Candy Crush. Candy Crush will not help your brain in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Candy Crush gives you a dopamine hit, and
What
that's why
about
people keep doing it.
Scrabble? What about like creating words and Scrabble and
I
crossword
think
puzzles?
Scrabble, if you have some good partners, Scrabble can be very dynamic and really force you to do things that you normally wouldn't do. In my community, we play a type of dominoes called 42,
Hmm.
and it's usually played with four players, and it's fast.
Oh, fun.
And it's you have to know both. You have to have a little luck when you draw to
Uh-huh.
get the right, they call them rocks or tiles. But
Okay.
I used to play with a gentleman who was hitting 90. He was almost as deaf as, they deaf really, I mean, I'm talking major. And he was beginning to lose his eyesight.
Oh, I don't know why I'm
He
laughing.
could tell you who had what hand around the table.
Wow.
Yes. So it
What?
keeps you sharp.
It does. That's
But
so great.
don't forget to brush.
And brush our teeth. Who knew? I mean, I do it. I've been doing it forever, but
Huh?
I didn't realize it was a something to help prevent dementia. That's great news. That's great news. Everybody can brush their teeth twice a
Yes.
day.
And
That
in the morning
easy.
when you get dressed, just notice how you put your shoes on.
I'm gonna notice that, and I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna mix it up. I'm mixing it up, Sally.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're
I'm gonna mix
mixing
it
it up.
up. Well, Sally, gosh, this was great, Dr. Sally Good. This was so good. It was great. I really appreciate your expertise, your information. You're so delightful to know. I've just had so much fun getting to know you these last few weeks, and I appreciate you being here so much. And I might have to have you back sometime if you don't mind. I have to think
I
about
think
that.
so.
So, is there
Hmm.
any final word you have before I close out with our audience today?
Yes, for your audience, there is a little file because it talks about nurturing your second brain, and it's 3 tips, and we
Okay,
touched on them mostly today. But when you're listening, it's a different modality than reading. So
yes.
then you can download it and actually print it if you want. So then you can share it with other
Oh,
people.
that's so nice of you. Great. So you get your Dr. Sally Good freebie in the show notes.
Hmm.
And go check her out at Good Brain, or goodbodygoodbrain.com. We'll leave that in the
Hmm.
show notes. Seek her out if you want more information about what's available to you. And yeah, and then go get her book, Preventing Dementia, which is on
Yes.
Amazon, I believe, right?
Yeah, it's Kindle and paperback.
And
So,
paperback.
mhm.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Sally. Oh, it's great to have you here. Thanks
Thank
everybody for
you.
being with us today. Go brush your teeth and put your shoes on the
Mhm.
other way and go eat the good food and I'll
Look
talk
at
to you soon.
trees and have fun.
Oh yeah, and look at trees and go have fun. I love these
Yes.
instructions. All right, I'll talk to
Hmm.
you all again soon.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you so much, Cindy. I appreciate it. Bye bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Life Makeovers podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share this podcast with those that you think would also benefit from what we're doing here. And I will talk to you again soon.